The Nintendo Switch has got a whole new way to play Pac-Man. We get a marshmallowy taste of the new Ghostbusters movie, and I've been playing a ton of Outriders, and I have some thoughts to share. All that and the latest and everything cool today in the Rundown. Hey, welcome to the Rundown. It's great to see everybody here. This is another episode of Rundown Live, which we are doing from time to time. So if you can join us for a live episode of the Rundown, please do, because the people in the chat are incredible. And speaking of which, we are going to dedicate this show to Hi There, the enigmatic Hi There, who said it's time for snacks as we get started with the Rundown. You know who has always got time for snacks? That's Pac-Man. Bandai Namco stealth dropped a new trailer for Pac-Man 99, which is a battle royale game that's coming out today, but it's unlike all of the other shooters that are out there. In this exclusive Switch Online game, players compete against 98 different opponents to become the Pac-1. And the way that you do it is very familiar to people that have been playing Pac-Man for, 500 years? How long has Pac-Man been around? You got to eat the ghosts, and you create these jammer Pac-Man that slow down your opponents. Now, if you can activate a bunch of these sleeping ghost icons that are on the board, they become a ghost train, and then you can send a whole bunch of Pac Jammers back to the people that you're playing against, and there are 98 opponents on there. They each have their own little boards. It's pretty incredible. It's going to be available today. I don't know if it's downloadable right now, but it's coming out. It was a total surprise yesterday, but this is kind of cool, and it's another one of these titles, a little bit like what they've done with Tetris 99, which has had a whole bunch of different updates, that kind of justifies the subscription for Nintendo Switch Online. You also can, of course, get the NES and Super Nintendo libraries as part of your Switch Online subscription. But they've done this with Tetris 99. They also did it with Super Mario 35. So Nintendo is trying a bunch of things, just like Xbox and PlayStation are, to kind of add in a little bit of value. And what I think is cool here is this is Nintendo's way of kind of, taking a zag when everybody else is zigging and trying something new with online multiplayer, because it is competitive. It's sort of in that battle royale kind of realm. We saw that with Tetris 99, with Super Mario 35, and here again now with Pac-Man. It's like they're going down the list of icons going, I wonder if we could turn a battle royale game into that. So what would be the next one? Could you do a Zelda 99? I mean, what other huge icon could Nintendo pull out of its magic hat and say, yeah, let's turn that into a battle royale? I think that's pretty cool, right? So this is another way for people to get some value out of that subscription, not just to play the old classic titles out there, but to kind of see how Nintendo can reinvent play again using online as its platform here. And, again, it's not like the open-ended, gonna break down the doors kind of multiplayer that a lot of other companies are kind of focused on with all of the the voice chat and all of the access and all of the different layers of microtransactions. Although Pac-Man 99 does have some stuff that Bandai Namco is trying to get people excited with. There's a whole bunch of paid content that people are going to be able to unlock, so extra modes. So I don't know if this is going to be one of these timed games that has been proliferate on Nintendo Switch Online. For example, the Mario 35, I don't believe you can play that anymore. I think it was just something to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Mario, and then they've taken it off the eShop and taken it off of Nintendo Switch Online, which is unfortunate. But I do love this experimentation, and I think it's pretty cool that. I think, you're getting more than your money's worth for that Nintendo Switch Online subscription. Certainly, we can want more. I wouldn't mind a Game Boy library on there or an N64 library, or you can keep on going all the way up to the GameCube, whatever. But it does feel like there's lots of fun little bits to kind of dig in there. Are you guys going to play Pac-Man 99? I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. And something else that is coming back from the 80s is Ghostbusters Afterlife. The folks at Sony Pictures today released this, tiny little taste of what's coming up in Ghostbusters Afterlife. We see the teacher, played by Paul Rudd. He's doing a little bit of shopping, and he sees that there's something weird in the neighborhood going on with the marshmallow pack, and we see a tiny little Stay Puft Marshmallow guy erupt out of the bag, and then of course that's where things start to get a little bit nutso with this little creation here, which is kind of crazy. I saw Greg Miller talking about the fact that, Stay Puft Marshmallow destroyed New York City, but somehow the brand is so strong that it could come back and you could still go and buy. Everybody forgot about New York being destroyed by a giant marshmallow monster. But this I thought was pretty cute. I mean, it's certainly trying to access the, trying to get all of us to go, oh, but I don't know. Paul Rudd can sell anything. I am excited about this movie. It's got all of the original Ghostbusters cast members in it, which is pretty cool. So we're going to be seeing Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Sigourney Weaver and Ernie Hudson and Annie Potts, which is pretty rad. They don't show any of that, the classic cast in the trailers that have been out there so far. It stars Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, and he's playing the grandson of Egon Spengler, which was Harold Ramis's character, rest in peace. And we're going to be, enjoying a kind of a fresh, new generation of Ghostbusters, sort of examining the history. There's scenes where the characters are looking at old footage of Ghostbusters, which is, it's kind of cool. They actually show a little bit of the old, the old team out on the streets of New York. And interestingly enough, when Ivan Reitman was shooting that movie, they didn't get all of the permits and stuff. They just went and shot on New York City streets. They closed off, streets and just started rolling and stuff. But you can see a lot of people, if you catch it again today, you can see a lot of people behind the screens, a lot of the extras, a lot of the people behind the scenes. They're all just watching, like, what's happening? What are the cameras rolling on here? But it kind of played into the fact that the Ghostbusters were celebrities in New York City, which is really cool. And I think this is a fun way to kind of reintroduce a lot of the old props and a lot of the old kind of setups, and to bring it out for a generation of people out there that might not be as familiar as perhaps you and I are with Ghostbusters. And this was supposed to come out last year. Sony put it in hibernation, in cryo freeze. And we're finally going to be able to see this movie this summer, and I for one am super excited, and it's going to be really cool to see the Ecto-1 kind of take the streets. They've got a couple of cool little shots in here where we see it racing around the corners and stuff, racing through cornfields. What's interesting is that this is set in a small town, I think in Iowa, but they have transposed all of this madness, the ghost madness from New York City is all going to be there. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I hope it's great. I didn't really enjoy the last Ghostbusters movie, not necessarily because of the different take or the different sort of ideas behind it. It just wasn't that funny, And so that's the main key thing that I want to see out of this film. I want it to be super funny, but I have faith in Jason Reitman. I think he's a good filmmaker, so we will see. Now, I've been playing a ton of Monster Hunter Rise, but I've also been completely addicted to Outriders. This is a really cool kind of sci-fi story where you play a colonist that goes to an Earth-like planet, and then you get embroiled in this fight that's happening between other colonists and other people that live on the planet and other creatures and stuff. There's this anomaly that exists on this planet, and it gives people and creatures some altered powers, and so it's a pretty good setup for an interesting team-based shooter, because you're getting all of the sort of cover mechanics, because people can fly. Worked on Gears of War games before. They did the Bulletstorm game. They've got the shooter mechanics down quite well at the company, but they've added this sort of extra color, this extra kind of energy with all of these altered superpowers. And what happens is you can choose from a couple of different classes. You actually get 4 classes. There's a Trickster class, which has the ability to manipulate time. You've got the Pyromancer class, which is what I have been playing. I haven't tried any of the other classes yet. You've got the Devastator class, which you can unlock kind of earthquake attacks and stuff. And then there's a Technomancer, which lets you use, as the name suggests, some tech abilities and turrets and things like that, other devices. I've been having fun burning everybody. Yeah, I streamed a little bit of this game, and you guys saw me set a lot of my enemies on fire. And you do that quite often in the game. And it's an interesting mechanic because you do have a lot of, getting to cover like Gears of War, so it feels very familiar to Gears heads. And in fact, I wanted to play a little bit of Gears 5 again after I played some of this, just to kind of compare and contrast. And what's cool about Outriders is just how easy it is to play, how fast it is. It's very fluid, it's very easy to play. So the cover mechanic, you kind of snap into cover, but then you can roll out and just, hit that dash button, press down on the thumbstick, and start running. And you can do cool sort of melee attacks at speed, which is pretty great. You can punch them, or in my case, like punch and burn them, or you can jump up in the air and just sort of have an area effect around you, and it's a pretty compelling way to play the game. But there's just this fluidity, this ease of use to kind of experiment with all of the cover stuff and all of your powers, and the powers regenerate very quickly. It's not like Destiny where it takes a little bit of time and you have to kill waves and waves and waves of bad guys and then you get your abilities and your powers. This is doling out the rewards quite often, and then they've also layered in the equipment loot drop sort of obsession in there as well. So you're constantly, talking to different characters that might sell you things or trade you things. You can sell the stuff that you pick up. You're in your inventory a lot, but the inventory is actually pretty smooth. It's pretty easy to kind of manipulate and toggle through and decide what's going to stay and what's going to go. And they've done a pretty decent job with all of those ideas. The only thing that I have a kind of an issue with this game is that the storytelling, the actual conveyance of the storytelling is not that great. The voice acting it's kind of B-level. It's not like it's terrible, but it's not the best that we've seen in this genre, and certainly you can point to the Gears franchise and even the stuff that's in Destiny, even though Destiny's a little bit more opaque. I don't always know what the hell is happening in Destiny. This is a little bit more straightforward, but it's not especially well crafted. And I'm not really into the art outside of the gameplay either. When I'm in the cut sequences and stuff like that, I feel like the characters are a little bit washed out, a little underdeveloped. You get a lot of funky outfits and stuff in this game, but it's not like they get cooler. They just add different stripes and colors and things to them. I feel like there's a lot of stuff built into this game just to kind of extend you collecting and tapping, and it's a games as service idea, right? Like they want a lot of players to stay with this after you've defeated the sort of main story. They've got the sort of end game kind of idea, and it's about playing with other people, which honestly I have not been doing. Of course, you can upgrade your character and give yourself more abilities and quicker cooldowns and things like that. A lot of nice buffs and things in this game. But you know what? The core mechanics are so intuitive and so enjoyable that I've been having a lot of fun. It's been hard to put the controller down, and it has that way of kind of getting into your head, and it's just like, okay, well, I've reached a couple of points where I've said, okay, well, I've had enough, and then just as I'm about to put the controller down, I get into a moment where it's just like, oh, okay, I get this, and I have some awesome new sniper rifle, or I've done some incredible attack, and I've wiped out somebody, and then I've got that compulsion to not put the controller down and go to bed at 1:30 in the morning. and that signifies to me that it's a good game. It's not an awesome game for me yet. I've seen a lot of my friends too. They're obsessed with it. People have said this is an early game of the year contender. I don't quite feel that yet, but I am having a lot of fun. And I guess what's going to take it to another level is I need to play it with other people, and I have not tried that yet. But so far, really enjoyable, and I'll have more to say about Outriders. I expect I'll be streaming some more pretty soon as well. But if you haven't played it, I think it's definitely worth trying on Game Pass, which is amazing that Xbox locked that up with Square Enix, and you can just download it if you've got a Game Pass account. Absolutely recommend that. I don't know if I would wholeheartedly recommend the full price on the game just yet. I'm leaning towards yes. Because I am having fun, and I got to be honest, like I'm juggling between Monster Hunter Rise, which I absolutely adore, and this game. But this game is just so easy to play. It's just so easy, and it's a little mindless. And I do check out on the storytelling. Like it's just wrapping me up like some of the best stories and shooters out there. But it's freaking cool. It is a cool game. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that for a second there. I do have a couple of other things, though. This was something that I just caught today. This is Last Kids on Earth, Staff of Doom, and this is kind of reminding me of Zombies Ate My Neighbors or something like that. It's definitely made for a younger crowd out there. It's based on a graphic novel series that's out there. There's also an animated show out there, which I haven't seen. My daughter's not into this at all, but it's definitely skewing young, and it looks like it's got a lot of the assets and the sort of production polish that you would see in the animated show. I don't know if it's all the same actors, and I think Finn Wolfhard's brother is one of the characters in this, which is crazy. It's such a small world. But the game looks fun. It looks like there's lots of different tools that you can pick up, and you're taking out zombies, but it's not super gory or anything. Looks pretty cute. It's coming out this June, and I've got just one more thing to tell you about. Lost Worlds Beyond the Page, which is a game that I actually reviewed on Stadia last year, and I played this one through with my daughter, and we had a really, really good time. It's a storybook platform action adventure where you actually maneuver words on the page, and then you kind of dive into the writer's imagination. So you're kind of having two stories at once, and you're dealing with some heavy stuff that's outside of the confines of the game, but it's really, really well made. It's well written, beautiful, beautiful orchestrated music in this as well, and some really interesting ideas here about using the power of words to be able to kind of continue on in your progress. And that's a metaphorical thing, but it's also a literal thing here within the game. And I was really taken aback. Rihanna Pratchett is the author of the game, and she's worked on Tomb Raider and a bunch of other really big properties as well. And you can tell that this was made with a lot of love and a lot of great attention to detail. It's not the best video game experience I've ever played, but it was certainly memorable, and I'm just really happy that it's available everywhere. It's on the Switch today. It's on Xbox. I don't know if it's a part of Game Pass, and it's also on the PlayStation. So people everywhere can check this game out, and I encourage you to do that. And if you want to check out my review, I will put a link in the description on this video later on. It's a very cool game. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown today. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you especially to all of our subscribers and to our EPN members. Can't do this without you guys. Thank you. We will see you tomorrow with a brand new rundown. Forever. And until then, play forever.